Well guys, I think it's time for a progress report on where we're up to with this Corolla. As you can see, I've got all the doors off. That was a very easy process. The front windscreen is out, and in the video where I took it out, I did the same process to the rear windscreen. No rust. A little bit of glue from the headliner, but this rear window seal was in very, very, very good condition. A few rust spots to repair for the boot seal, which I knew from the start, and they're going to be easy repairs. I've taken the door latches off, sanded them right back, hit them with a little bit of rust converter and primer just for the sake of it, why not, on all of them. And just really cleaning up the inner door jambs to get it ready for when I spray. So like I said, I'm just in the process of cleaning up these door jambs. It's very simple. I guess a rough Scotch-Brite, some soapy water. I'm just getting into it really. And so far, so good. This is all just grime. It's coming off very easily. Again, hardly any rust. It actually looks worse in the video. Very slight surface rust here, and a little bit of surface rust right there. That's super, super minimal. So I'm just going to keep cleaning. We'll see where we're at. So before I can do any more with these areas and the jams and whatnot, I need to get onto this rust, because being the next step, this has to be repaired. So the only issue I have is this metal is so thin. I'm not sure if my welder is just going to burn straight through this, or if there's another technique I can use to fill these gaps. I don't want to use Bondo or Bog or anything like that, or filler. I don't even want to use the Metal Tech. I want to actually get steel into this. I'm going to grind all this area back to see what metal is affected, and then also I'm going to be able to cut out a piece maybe to about here and go up and follow that, so there's going to be a pointy bit of metal here. I'll make a patch out of thin steel, and we're going to attempt to weld this up without burning through the steel too much. So I'll get on to doing this now, and I'll meet you back at the welding stage. So our patch piece is sitting in place. I got that cut, not too bad. A couple of gaps, but that's not the end of the world. Now I've got to tack this in without blowing holes in the thin steel. Let's give it a go. Alright, so when welding really thin sheet metal like this, my goal is definitely not to make a pretty looking weld, because we're going to grind it all off anyway. It is simply about making sure we don't burn holes in the steel. So that will do for round one. I'm going to grind back all the top weld, and then we'll see what's left if there's any more holes that need to be tacked up. Alright, so after the first grind back, I've got a little bit of a hole up here that I just got to tack up. I need to grind a little bit more at the top, and a little bit of a divot down there. So we'll quickly tack up there, and then give it another grind back, but that's come up really good. So that's now got nice new steel in there. I've got to continue with all the rest of it now, which is going to be fun. That won't be too hard, although there is 2 layers of metal. So I've got a big day ahead of me. I'll quickly finish this off. I just thought I'd share with you my process of doing these, I don't know, what are they called, boot seals and everything, the areas. It's a pain in the rear end, like they're really fiddly to work in. Like the grinder and the cutters don't fit in all the right spots and areas, and it's fiddly, but definitely worthwhile. Now on the back side of this, where, you know, it's still going to be kind of ugly and gross, I'm going to sand that back. We're going to rust convert underneath really, really, really well. So let's get these little holes tacked up and we'll move on. There's the corner piece in at least. She's all welded in. I got the seam on this side, kind of all right. Sure beats not having a seam there. Now I just got to plug these holes, which is not going to take too long. And that there is really annoying me. I gave up on it because I kept burning through, but I'm going to give it another shot. All right, so that hole there, it's been plugged up and ground off. So we're coming together well. It's taking some time though. It is a bit frustrating, but you just gotta push through and do it. Set yourself aside maybe a day to do something like this at least. I'm gonna continue working on. I've got a few to do. That one there is very, very similar but without the holes. But then again, maybe this needs to be cut out, we'll see. So I'm going to continue doing it, and I will see you guys back when there is some primer on it for the next step. Right, we're very close to putting some primer down on this boot seal. Everything has been welded up. I've got a patch plate there, there, another big one in the middle here, which is good because now that's really strong. Another little one just in this little area, this guy, and then obviously the one at the front. So that's all been welded into place using the same method I did up there. And I did put a little bit of Metal Tech just over the top of the grinds and the welds, just to kind of keep that nice and flush again, so that if, you know, when water comes down here, it's got a nice smooth channel to flow down. We are very close to priming. I'm just going to hit underneath with some rust converter.
And then we're ready to put the primer or etch primer on the bare metal up in this whole sill here. And one step closer. And there we have it. Etch primer is on the bare steel, and now we just have to wait for it to dry. It's still quite wet, so it's got that kind of shiny look to it. But look how clean that is. That's great. One more thing I don't have to worry about anymore is rust in these sills. So that's sweet. You can see just the top there is part of that weld mark that I didn't quite cover up. Oh well. Now we just need this to dry off real well. I did put a little bit too much on. It's dripping actually out that channel, but that's not the end of the world. I can sand that back down. So once this is dry, I guess the next steps are going to be more of the door jambs. But that's enough for today. My arms are sore and I'm tired, and I've got to go blow all this dust out of my nose. Thanks for watching.